Konnichiwa. I no naka no kawaza wa taikai o shirazu. The frog in the well knows nothing of the great ocean. Combating fear, saying yes to new experiences, embracing growth and change was the foundation of my travel to Japan, but I did not expect to be faced with pushing myself even in the planning process. Have a seat and let's take this journey together from the beginning. What would this be? This is one of the first things that is making this trip seem real, because this is something that I'll actually have in my hands. Oh my gosh! It's my passport! Having never gone through the process of applying for a passport, I did not know what to expect, which was the truth for all of my experiences before, during, and after my travel. I was hit with a couple obstacles applying for my passport. It was disheartening at first, but I reminded myself that anything worth having may come with a few hiccups and roadblocks, but do not turn around. Keep pushing forward. And you know what? It worked out. I had my customs interview for global entry a few days later, when the average waiting period is 4 to 6 months, and I was approved within an hour. This was confirmation that things were moving in the right direction. So today is June 7th, 2024, and I leave for Japan in exactly 7 days. The feeling, I feel a little nervous. I'm starting to feel a little antsy and anxious. Because I guess the realization is really setting in that in 1 week I am leaving to explore the country of Japan. And my little whale doesn't seem so little, but according to or compared to what else is out there, I mean, this whale is kind of small. So, I'm excited. I'm ready. It's happening. This is really happening. So, it's almost, I think I have 2 hours until I have to be at the airport, and I'm getting very emotional. I don't know why. This is very surreal, and I can't believe that it's finally happening. I planned for this for months, and it's happening. And I'm just thinking about my family, my daughter, and people that I'll miss because I'm used to seeing them every day. My work family. Whew. So, I didn't expect to get emotional. I'm not even at the airport yet. Not even headed that way, but that just really caught me off guard, and it's very unexpected. So just wanted to capture this real moment, this very vulnerable moment of transparency, and just I guess the fear and the nerves and just letting go. But I'm excited about what lies ahead. I am. Nothing could have prepared me for the beauty of the landscape of Japan, in nature and in the city. I was filled with excitement, eager to explore the country. Ichigo Ichii in Japanese means one time, one meaning. This proverb reminds us to cherish each moment and each encounter in life because they only happen once in a lifetime, as they are unique and fleeting. It encourages mindfulness and appreciation for the present. As I traveled through Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo, I was mindful to cherish the experience and to fully immerse myself into the moment. I knew I had to visit Kinkakuji, also known as the Golden Pavilion, because of its beautiful history. What attracted me to this site is its story. It was initially erected for a retiring shogun, a military chief, and after his passing, turned into a Zen Buddhist temple based on the shogun's final wishes. In 1950, this structure was destroyed due to a fire, but was completely reconstructed in 1955. The first tier, Shindenzukuri style, was used for palace buildings with natural wood and white plaster walls. The second tier, Buke style, was used in samurai residences and is completely covered in gold leaf. The third and final tier is in the style of a Chinese Zen hall and is covered inside and out with gold leaf and capped with a golden phoenix. People overflowed into the park, surrounded the mirror pond, and gazed at the temple from afar. Its gold brilliance glistened in the sunlight, beautiful and astonishing from every angle. After covering the grounds of the temple, I hiked over to the Yoanji Temple. Once through the gates, there was an immediate shift in the atmosphere, one of complete solace and peace. The Yoanji Zen Temple is a World Heritage Site and one of Japan's most visited sites like the Golden Pavilion, but despite the crowd of people, it was completely silent. A Buddha statue and ancient meditation rooms and scrolls all in immaculate condition. As I strolled the veranda overlooking the dry rock garden, people meditated and sat in silence. Stillness, quietness. I sat there and peered out onto the rock garden. The waves raked into the rocks. The rocks are laid out so that only 14 are visible at any one time from any angle on the veranda, possibly symbolic of the idea that the number 15 represents completeness, and the hidden rock is hidden truths that can be comprehended through meditation. It was so simple, yet so beautiful. I looked into the meditation rooms where generations of monks had meditated and prayed. The walls were lined with the most beautiful art. The temple grounds also have a 17th century tea house and water garden, near which is a famous stone basin that has continually flowing water for ritual purification through washing the hands. The user must bend over to use it, a sign of reverence and humility. 4 characters on the stone basin, when read correctly, mean, "I know only satisfaction." This relates to Buddhist teachings that with abundance in the soul, one has all one needs. Of course, I had a few surreal moments after arriving in Japan, but this was the first time I felt an emotional connection, that I was in a place so far from home that millions of people travel to annually. I was in a place full of history, once occupied by the most revered religious figures in the country. I felt blessed. I have tried to illustrate my experience to capture what I felt on this day, but I have a better idea. Here's footage of my video diary that I captured for each of you to feel the emotion and hear the thoughts in real time. So today I went to Kinkakuji, which is the Golden Pavilion. It was so packed, and it was just really amazing to see the things that I've been Googling, the things that I've been researching, and to see it in real life. A few times throughout the day, I was just like, this is really happening. This is my life right now. This is my reality. And it felt natural. I guess I was worried that I would feel out of place. I guess I was worried that I would feel scared or just like, oh my gosh, I'm so out of my element. Not at all. on the streets with these Japanese people, I feel normal, regular. It feels right. If there is something that I have taken away from this trip so far, this early on, is that the thing seems hard. The thing, whatever it may be, seems difficult when you haven't put yourself out there to even try to see. And what this is showing me is that you are capable of so much more than you think you are. Your capacity to succeed, your capacity to learn, your capacity to tackle challenges is far greater than what you think it is. But because the thing seems so large or so big, for lack of a better word, or because the thing seems impossible, you can't wrap your head around something that you haven't tried to do, and you limit yourself. And again, that fear stops you from even trying. But once you do it, you're like, this is what I was afraid of. This is what I was scared to do. This is the amazing thing that was on the other side of that fear. Oh. And it's completely mind-blowing. And it's not making me mad at myself, because I'm not mad at myself, but it's making me look at myself like, girl, how many more things in your life have you passed up that seemed difficult and you didn't do it, and it could have been this simple and could have given you so much joy and could have had such amazing lasting results. So this is definitely making me look at things differently and making me think as these challenges, or not even challenges, but new things that come into my life that I'm scared to tackle, just do it, because it feels like there are going to be some great things waiting ahead if I just take that first step. And I can say that it is feeling really, really good right now. So this is the close of day 3. I chose to travel to Japan because I wanted the opportunity to experience a country whose traditional practices have permeated throughout its people and become a part of the culture that is still revered and practiced today. The traditional matcha tea ceremony is another one of those practices I wanted to experience. I visited a place called Kimono Tea Ceremony Kyoto, Maikayoa, where I was able to dress in an authentic kimono and participate in a formal tea ceremony. So I am getting ready to roll for my kimono experience. So this is really cool. I'm excited. After getting dressed, I entered the chashitsu, the tea house where traditional Japanese tea ceremonies are performed with a geisha. As we sat on the tatami floor, the geisha explained the history behind this sacred ceremony. Tea was introduced to Japan in the 8th century from China and was drunk as a medicinal beverage mainly amongst priests and the upper class, then introduced to Zen monks as a way to stay awake during meditation. Before the tea ceremony, we bowed and sat as the geisha prepared the tea. From the way she spoke about the matcha tea to the care she handled the tools with, the word that came to mind was intentionality. Every swipe of her handkerchief around the cup, every scoop of water, every stroke of the whisk to mix the matcha was intentional and had a specific purpose. She did not rush, nor did she skip a step. She took pride in serving us and reiterated Ichigo Ichii, which means to be present in the moment and take advantage of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The geisha explained to us that just like each day in life is different, there's never a tea ceremony that is the same. Although the ritual is the same, the people in the experience is never the same. Because we know this to be true, we must always remember to live in the moment. Very similar to the saying, life is not about the destination but the journey and our encounters along the way. I even had my own matcha cup whisk along with a sweet treat. This was my first time mixing matcha, and let me tell you, whip about 3 to 5 cups a day and you can skip arm week at the gym. Man, it was work, but once the matcha is foamy, it's ready to enjoy. Remember I talked about intentionality? Well, after drinking our matcha, the last bit is saved to be slurped to show appreciation. Afterwards, we showed appreciation and respect to the cup for serving as a vessel for tea by admiring its intricate designs. This experience left me in awe and gave me a lot to reflect on at the end of the day. At the end of each day, I dedicated time to reflect on my experiences, capture my emotions and thoughts as I traveled and journeyed throughout the country and throughout the cities. So today is day 2 of activities, day 3 of being in the city. Today is Tuesday, June the 18th. What I did today. So I did the tea ceremony with a geisha, and I can say that that was the most amazing, beautiful experience. I went in and went to the location and was instantly sent across the street to be prepared. And so there were about 10 to 15 ladies there that helped me dress in my traditional kimono. I got to pick the kimono that I wanted. I got to pick what sash or wrap I would have. I was able to pick, she picked the flowers that complimented me best. And the experience, like going through it, there's so much getting prepared, and you see this beautiful lady in her traditional dress, but you don't know how much time and effort and energy she's put into looking like that. I feel like I had on about 3 layers of things, and then I was wrapped about 3 to 5 times, and really cinched me. And but it was just like, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like I'm experiencing this. So once I was dressed, they sent me back across the street to actually engage in the tea ceremony with the geisha. This lady had the sweetest, kindest, most gentle spirit, and you can tell that this is something that she was very passionate about. You could tell that this is something that she loved and enjoyed, and had a joy of telling other people about it. The tea ceremony, I don't know if I used this in my last recap video, but the word that I'm seeing that explains so much about this culture is intentionality. Nothing is just done to do it. Everything has a purpose. Everything there's a plan for everything. There's a reason for everything. As to my purpose can be a blessing for even others. So like the matcha tea ceremony, yes, the person is practicing this ceremony and going through the steps, but it is blessing others. And I want to say the geisha talked about how these ceremonies will be held to bring in the new year. There may be a new season. It may even be for a wedding, for good fortune and goodwill. It has a purpose that affects more than just the person performing it, and it is essentially given to others. So I got that from the tea ceremony, and I just felt left there feeling full, feeling fulfilled, and just in complete amazement and awe in this beautiful practice. Wanting to learn more about the lives of geishas, I took a tour of the Gion district that serves as home to many geishas and geckos. A geisha and a gecko are the same thing, the words used interchangeably based on the region. Kyoto refers to these women as geckos. There are also makos, who are younger geisha apprentices still in training. Before our tour in the Gion district started, our guide let us know that we were in the district that housed the oldest kabuki theater. Kabuki is Japanese theater comprised of singing, dancing, and acting, while covered in makeup and in full costume and dress. The founder of Kabuki is a woman named Okuni, and little is known about her earlier life. It is believed that she was a shrine maiden or a miko. Okay, so mikos were responsible for sacred cleansing and performing sacred dances within the shrine. It is also believed she began her act of dancing and light shows as a way to raise money to fix her Shinto shrine in which she performed. Shinto is a major religion in Japan alongside Buddhism, and the Shinto shrine's purpose is to house one or more kami, the deities of the Shinto religion. Kabuki was performed by an all-women troupe for samurai soldiers. Beautiful women and men back from war? Oh no, that was definitely not a recipe for disaster. The women were too beautiful and the soldiers would fight, and it caused all types of drama. As a result, men became the actors, even dressing as women with full makeup. As of today, Kabuki is still performed by male actors, and I heard they play pretty amazing women characters. As I strolled through the Gion district, I learned that houses that hung a lantern with a red bird or plover signified the house of a geisha. Since Kyoto was the former capital of the country, many nobles would travel throughout the city, so bamboo blinds were found on houses for ventilation and privacy, because making direct eye contact with the noble could result in death. The bamboo exteriors are still present outside houses to protect the traditional buildings, to preserve them, and to protect them from dogs doing their business. A day trip to Solaniwa Onsen Osaka Bay was the climax to the most amazing and relaxing week. As we traveled to Osaka, it was wonderful to see how the city had skyscrapers and newly built buildings, but a couple streets over, there were traditional style buildings and narrow alleys like in Kyoto. Once inside, I got to choose a yukata, a casual kimono worn in bathhouses, and I started to explore the spa. The yukata is an unlined cotton summer kimono worn in casual settings such as summer festivals and to nearby bathhouses. The name is translated literally as bathing cloth and were originally worn as bathrobes. Their modern use is much broader and are a common sight in Japan during the summer. These beautiful garments are hand sewn with their motifs and patterns representing Japanese natural elements, landscapes, and even culture. Next, I decided to push myself to uncomfortable limits and stayed in a sauna at 140 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. Woo! 10 out of 10 would recommend, but if you start seeing stars like I did and it's not nighttime, go have a seat in the 50-degree sauna like I did. After I cooled off, I decided to take a dip in one of the onsens or hot springs. The Japanese believe onsens have healing properties and help form bonds and collectiveness among others. So this is another practice revered and carried out by me in the country. The sun was shining and the weather was beautiful, so having the onsen outside was an added bonus. I sat back, closed my eyes, and listened to the steady stream of water flowing. Just listen. My final stop at the Soloniwa Onsen Osaka Bay was a wellness and beauty center for a Sabai Sabai Thai massage, which has origins going back more than 5,000 years to ancient India and China, and is widely regarded as one of the best systems of therapeutic massage. Close your eyes and think about a time you went to a beautiful spa and received the best massage. How relaxed and at peace you felt, how your muscles felt relieved after the tension was slowly kneaded away. Take a deep breath. Now my turn to tell you about my experience. Whew! Did I already say whew? Listen, apparently Japan activated my superpowers and turned me into Elastigirl because I had no idea my limbs could stretch in the various directions my masseuse was able to stretch them. After my experience, I researched and found that Sabai Sabai means relaxed or feel good after yoga-like stretching with the massage of the muscles, tendons, pressure points, and energy lines. I can honestly say this was the first time since becoming a mom that I have had anyone, except my child, put their knees in my back and march up and down like a soldier. What an experience. My masseuse was amazing because she was able to read my energy and feel I was tired, and she pointed out every single tight muscle in my body. I got off the floor feeling like $1,000,000 had trampled me, but I felt good after about 30 minutes. Whew. Before leaving Kyoto, I knew I had to visit the infamous Nishiki Market, known as Kyoto's Kitchen, home to hundreds of stores, markets, and boutiques. These markets specialize in all things food related, like seafood, produce, knives, and cookware, and is a great place for seasonal foods and Kyoto specialties such as Japanese sweets, pickles, dried seafood, and sushi. History you can actually taste. The wonderful thing about this market is that stores within have been operated by the same families for generations. Almost everything at the market is locally produced and procured. The Nishiki Market is huge and expands 5 blocks, but is tucked away down an alley that could have easily been missed if it weren't for the heavy flow of traffic in that direction. It all started as a fish wholesale district, with the first shop opening around 1310. A larger variety of shops moved in later, and the area changed from a wholesale market to retail. I saw the most interesting foods. Octopi on a stick, like lollipops alongside fresh squid, and people were waiting in line to experience this delicacy. Shrimp so huge it could be used as a weapon. Excuse me, ma'am, we're gonna ask that you check your colossal shrimp at the door, please. The smell of various types of seafood floated throughout the air. The sound of the crowd rang throughout the streets. Culture and tradition are beautiful concepts because they give a glimpse into a group of people's history, hardships, and victories that structure their everyday lives. Visiting Japan allowed me to experience these concepts firsthand, and I marveled in the consistency throughout the country, no matter where I visited. The minute I arrived in Japan, I was treated with the utmost respect and kindness. As I exited my plane in Nagoya, I stood beside the aircraft exit door and watched as the flight attendant bowed and greeted every single person that exited the plane. And do you know what? Each passenger did the same. Despite the language barrier and sometimes difficulty of communicating, I was shown this same kindness and respect wherever I went throughout my entire trip. One day I could not find a dessert shop in this massive underground store. I tried to explain what I was looking for, and one of the attendants actually left her store to walk me to my desired location because she could not give me the directions verbally. 2 days before departing Japan, I had an allergic reaction of some kind, and the pharmacist pulled out a huge medicine dictionary to help me. I used a few words in Japanese, and we used translator app and even a few hand gestures and signals, and he found me exactly what I needed. Again, he remained patient with me. In a place so far from my family, I was made to feel at home. Another thing I instantly noticed was the cleanliness of everywhere and everything. Not a piece of paper on the floor or ground, no debris in the streets or gutters, trains, train platforms, buses, everything immaculate. I even saw elderly men smiling as they swept the sidewalks with straw brooms, doing so with pride and joy. Very few garbage cans, even on the streets, displaying intentionality to limit waste. While in Kyoto, at the end of each day, businesses put their garbage toward the edge of the sidewalk for nightly pickup. I was amazed at a restaurant's trash for the day was equivalent to maybe a 13-gallon bag. American school buses are larger than the garbage trucks. Most restaurants did not even have napkins on the table, and straws were provided if requested. And even then, they were paper. Even products like Dove soap were packaged to be recycled everywhere. No smoking on the streets, no eating and walking, money being received and given on a silicone tray, no shoes allowed inside many sacred spaces and home settings, moving as a unit at the crosswalks, drivers understanding that you actually stop when you see someone, even in mid-turn. Shop owners working together to bring in customers, young people going out having fun in the most organized and peaceful and respectful way I have ever witnessed. I saw this everywhere. Rules and guidelines put in place, accepted, and observed by the majority to make Japan the peaceful, clean, organized country it is. With Tokyo being the new capital of Japan, I knew my activities here would be fun and exciting and push me to try new things. Tokyo, the country's new capital, offered a mixture of traditional culture and a passion for everything new. Creativity, innovation, and collaboration led to Tokyo being the Mecca it is today, much like HBG design has transitioned over the years by holding true to those fundamental practices and culture that make HBG the award-winning and top workplace we are today. And speaking of transitioning old and new, one of the activities I was most excited about participating in was kintsugi, the art of melding old, broken, cracked ceramic back with gold. In the practice of kintsugi, I started with my broken ceramic plate. I was instructed to use a file and a continuous down motion to shave away the jagged edges. This was not an easy or fast process. My arm started hurting and the sound of filing ceramic was loud. Just when I thought I was finished, I'd ask the instructor, "Is this good?" And he'd say, "No, you need to file more." I did not find out until later that the longer I filed, the smoother and deeper my line became, making my finished product, and specifically my gold, more visible. I finally finished filing, then I put the broken piece back together with a special adhesive, then added a lacquer before applying the gold to help it shine bright. I was finally finished and I got a revelation. Sometimes we go through processes or situations and we think, oh, it's taking too long, or we think we've done enough, but we don't realize that we need a little more patience or a little more knowledge or a little more some other skill that can only be developed or strengthened during a certain phase. If we move too soon, we won't be ready, nor will we be as successful or shine as bright. So stay in the process if it's not time yet. Don't give up, even if you're getting tired. It will all make sense once you've moved to the next level and you are able to shine so bright. My next fun experience here was at the Team Lab Planets Tokyo Museum, which earned the Guinness World Record as the most visited museum, welcoming 2.5 million visitors from April 2023 to March 2024. Team Lab Planets Museum is a fully immersive space that allowed me to become the artwork and utilize every single sense. It is comprised of 4 large-scale artwork spaces and 2 gardens created by the art collective Team Lab. I took my shoes off and excitingly walked towards my first sensory experience that awaited me, which was sound. Before I take you along for this portion of my travel, I want to say that though I knew fun would await me during this adventure, attending this museum pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I know you're probably asking how. Taking my shoes off and walking barefooted in a space when I don't even do that at home, being surrounded by hundreds of people, this being my first encounter of such since pre-COVID. My first thought was, oh no, I'm not doing it. But I quickly remembered I was saying yes to new experiences because fear is the thief of opportunities. I gave myself a pep talk and then I said, yes, I'm ready. As I turned the corner, I could hear water continuously flowing. What was this? A waterfall? I walked up this waterfall, guided only by dimly lit white lights that lined the sides of the walkway. It was warm and the sound was calming and relaxing. This is amazing, and I was excited to see what was next. I was led to a room where I dried my feet for the next room. I was led to another room with mirror floors found throughout the museum and was instructed to sit. As I gazed up, a beautiful digital flower show filled every inch of the ceilings, every inch of the walls. Then it hit me. The smell. The sweet aroma of flowers filled the air, and it was as if I was in a field of flowers. I sat there looking up in complete astonishment. Once I got up, I was guided to the next surprise. Turning the hallway, I was met with milky colored water that led me into a room filled with the same colored water up to my knees. As I looked around, there was a light show on the water that resembled hundreds of little koi fish swimming excitedly through the water. On my feet, I could feel something gritty, which almost resembled the texture of sand on a beach. This was not the only thing I felt. I was filled with so much excitement as if I were a kid again. I giggled, I laughed as I splashed through the water. This felt like unadulterated joy. Have you ever seen those human hamster balls? Okay, well imagine a few hundred of them, opaque in color, filling a room from floor to ceiling. As a light show commenced, displaying the various colors of the rainbow, these balls danced around the room as people kicked them and jumped on them, threw them, and even played hiding games behind them. Another beautiful sight was the floating flower garden, which appeared to be an endless field of variation of colorful flowers, upside down. We got to crawl under the flowers and lie on yet another mirror floor and marveled at the spectacular sight. I looked around and smiled. This was me, living in the moment, completely happy. After the tour ended, I put my shoes on and left the museum because the experience was completed, or so I thought. I recognized a sign that said vegan ramen uzu and was instantly excited because finding vegan food options in Japan was quite a challenge. The line was stretched the length of the building, so I anticipated the food. I peered into the kitchen as the chefs calmly prepared dozens of bowls of ramen with the freshest ingredients with a smile on their faces. There's a movie from the 90s called Simply Irresistible with Sarah Michelle Gellar. In the movie, she's a terrible chef, but finds this magic craft that allows her to cook amazingly. The catch is, whatever emotion she feels when she cooks transfers to the food and to the consumer. So when I cook, I always talk about how my food tastes amazing and people enjoy it because I cooked it with love. That is what I tasted in this ramen. Time, attention, care, and love. As I finished my ramen, all of my senses had been heightened. I sat listening to the conversations of others all around me. Behind me, I could hear a couple speaking Spanish. At the end of the table, there was an Indian family. I did not know what they were saying exactly, but I do know it was about the toddler having an entire meltdown for ice cream. As I went to the vegan ice cream this toddler had encouraged me to try, I met another family in line, but was not sure of the language or the dialect I was hearing. Then it occurred to me that I was not only interacting and meeting people from all over Japan, but I was also encountering people from all over the world. What an amazing experience to be so immersed in so many international cultures. As I sat there and as I later walked around, it became a game of guess where they're from. And you all know how very little I like to talk. Yeah, right. I've never met a stranger, and in the same way I'm able to connect with people every day, I was able to do so thousands of miles from home. I would like to introduce you to a few of them.
Hi, hello, HBG Nagoya. My name is Kohei.
I made a new friend.
I get good rape. Yay!
Hello HBG, I'm Robert, I'm from the Netherlands.
Yay! Thank you.
Hi HBG, I'm Carly from Sydney, Australia. Nice to meet you.
Yay!
Hello HBG. My name is Kae from Kyoto. こんにちは HBG。私の名前はカエです。京都からでした。
Thank you. While meeting new people, we talked about my reason for visiting Japan. I talked about the GOH Travel Scholarship as well as my premise of pushing past fear, having new experiences and not allowing doubt to hinder me from growth and elevation. Everyone talked about how my story inspired them to apply this fearlessness to their own lives. They even expressed the magnitude and rarity of a company providing these types of opportunities to employees. Let me take a moment to really appreciate the spirit in which this trip was given by HBG. It was given with great intention, and I have embraced every moment with such honor and openness to the possibilities the trip has granted me. This trip was about saying yes and combating fears, right? Well, I am not a fan of heights, so what do? I visited and journeyed to the top of the world's third tallest tower, Skytree Tower, standing at 634 meters, which is 2,080.5 feet. Whew. Once at the top, I could see for miles and miles and miles. This is where I had another surreal moment that a girl from a small Mississippi town, was out exploring the world and doing a pretty darn good job at it. Even at the tallest height of this tower, I was not afraid. I did not fear, but instead, I felt something in me unlocked. A fire was ignited, and I felt that fear would no longer hold me back from experiencing the amazing things life has to offer, or pass up on the awesome opportunities because I am uncertain of the ifs, hows, or whys. And guess what? I did karaoke. I was off beat. I did not know the words, but I did karaoke and I had fun, and it felt so good to just let it out, like we're just doing it. Before my trip to the Shibuya district, I knew this area was one of the busiest and most popular districts in Tokyo. I also knew it was the center of youth and fashion culture, the birthplace of many of Japan's fashion and entertainment trends. The neon lights, the busy streets, the immaculately constructed buildings are all a very drastic difference from Kyoto and very different from what I experience on a daily basis. But nothing could have prepared me for being there in person. Once I stepped foot onto the infamous Shibuya crossing, I was extremely overwhelmed with excitement. So many people. I've never been to New York, but it was very reminiscent of Times Square with the huge buildings and the enormous digital billboards. I did not see a lot of flashy fashion, but I did see a lot of flashy cars and the younger crowds preparing to go into one of the many clubs that line the back alleys. I just kept turning and looking and trying to take everything in all at once because it was amazing. I walked around for about 2 hours and I still don't feel like I was able to cover even a fourth of what there was to see. So, Shernina, 0, Shibuya, 1. After 2 weeks in Japan and several thousand pictures, I saw some of the most amazing buildings, artwork, nature, and even signs I wanted to capture and share with you. Let's take a look. Can you really say you have visited a place if you don't bring back souvenirs? Well, I had the opportunity to stumble upon some awesome Japanese treasures that I wanted to share with you all. These origami earrings were handmade and designed to represent various cities in Japan. These jitas are Japanese wooden clogs and are used for outdoor wear, usually worn with kimonos or yukatas. Kimonos. These are formal garments worn by men or women with long sleeves and tied with a sash. Of course, we all know chopsticks and still learning how to use them. Here are examples of Japanese pottery, and as you can see, these intricate designs are much like the ones that I talked about in our tea ceremony, where we stop and appreciate their design. Here we have tapestry from the Golden Pavilion, and as you can see, it has very brilliant, radiant gold threading throughout. We have various different colors that pop, and it also depicts what life was like on the ancient Golden Pavilion grounds. Here is my reassembled ceramic plate, and as you can see, here's where it was melded back with gold. And you remember how I talked about you got to keep filing because it'll really show? I needed to file more. Here's another item from the Golden Pavilion, and it is trimmed in 24 karat gold. Okawari kudasai. More food, please. I was so excited to try new food and experience dishes specific to Japan, but I was nervous that finding vegan or vegetarian options would be difficult. I was right, but everything I ate was phenomenal. When I tried to substitute something for the first time, the waitress said with a smile and shaking her head, "No, no." I laughed and ate whatever I could. The ingredients were fresh. The quality was top tier, and I never left an empty plate, unless it was just too much food to consume. I know everything I ate was made with that extra special ingredient, love. Let's take a look at what I ate while in Japan. I'm back in my hotel room, and while in the Ginza district, I decided to get myself a sweet treat from a place called Ginza Cozy Corner. So this is supposed to be a chocolate and mint crepe. I love mint and chocolate. So, and honestly, I don't know that I've ever had a crepe. This is good. And one thing I've noticed about, I probably said in my previous video, with the Japanese snacks and treats, it has like just the right amount of sweet. It's not overly sweet. It's not like I'm about to shoot my glucose levels up through the roof. It's just like, that's nice. That's good. I don't feel like I overdid it. And the mint it's like a little hint of mint. Oh, this is really good. And I'm gonna eat the whole thing and not feel guilty because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And mint is healthy, right? So 10 out of 10 would recommend. You have taken this journey with me from the very beginning, and something I always kept in mind is how I could bring the collectiveness I spoke about and experienced in Japan here to each HBG Design office. Collectiveness means togetherness. It means individuals working as a whole, or in this case, each office, Dallas, San Diego, and Memphis being the key components that make up HBG Design. Each individual person makes up a department. The collective departments create the offices, and the functioning offices in various parts of the country make it possible for HBG Design to expand its regional and international reach, acquiring projects based on the work from each office. So that means each person in each role in each office is vital to our collective success. And I wanted to display that with a masterpiece created by the hands of each of you. Remember the painting activity each office had when you created art on the canvas? Let's talk about it. My message for this project was to leave your mark. Whether it was a simple paint stroke or a complete picture, I said even if you did a circle, I wanted each person to do what they felt with no direction. Let me just say, when I returned from Japan, I had the opportunity to see these canvases, and I was completely blown away. I know we have brilliant people here who have creative and artistic minds, but nothing could have prepared me for this beauty. Thank you. Thank you, thank you to each person for taking the time to participate. I heard it was a great stress reliever throughout the day to be able to get away and just paint for a few moments. It could not have been a success without your involvement, so thank you again. Also, I never gave direction on what needed to be painted on the canvases, but everyone chose a Japanese theme and went above and beyond. Wow. Dallas even drew me in a boat. That was really cute. I used to be in band, and my band director, the wonderful and amazing Mr. William McEwen, would quote a line from the movie Drumline: "One band, one sound." So collectively, I wanted to take each office's individual painting to make one piece of artwork. So it does not represent Dallas, San Diego, and Memphis, but simply HBG Design. I also wanted each person to sign their name on the back to memorialize the part you played in this part of HBG Design's history. I believe in manifestation, and I believe in speaking your dreams and goals into fruition. I always knew I had dreams to see the world, and I knew it would happen, but I did not know that being at HBG Design would open that door for me. When I first began working here, it opened my eyes to greater office culture and camaraderie, greater pay, greater work experiences, and career growth. And it showed me better was available if I only took the step to seek. This company has allowed me the opportunity to operate in a greater capacity and allowed me to continue to grow. Receiving this travel scholarship was another instance where HBG Design aided in my growth and my elevation. The GOH Travel Scholarship was founded in honor of Mr. Gregory Onedek, whom I have never had the pleasure to meet, yet his legacy has impacted me, allowing me to release fear and experience the big ocean outside my small well, and inspire others to do the same. I am forever changed and impacted by this opportunity, and I am so glad I finally said yes and will continue to do so, because it will allow me to walk through doors I was once too afraid to walk through. I took the leap of a lifetime, and I implore you to do the same. I'd like to challenge you to think of something you have wanted to experience. Think of ways in which you have wanted to push yourself out of your comfort zone, but allow fear, doubt, or even hesitation to block you. Visualize these moments, and whatever they are, make a pledge with me that today you too will choose to leap. Arigato gozaimasu.